Before you sign a contract, before you shake a salesman's hand, before you even step onto a showroom floor, you need to hear this. Because speedboats, the machines we trust with our lives, our families, and our wallets, are not all created equal. Some are brilliant, some are beautiful, and some are disasters waiting to happen. Boats that crack in half on choppy water. Boats with engines known for blowing powerheads at 150 hours. Boats with electrical nightmares so bad that owners have reported melting harnesses. Boats that dealers quietly take in on trade and pray they'll never see again. The used market is flooded with speedboats that look good from the dock. Shiny, gelcoat, new vinyl, cheap price tag. But underneath, the polish is rot. Poor engineering and cost-cutting that will empty your wallet faster than a supercharged 300 horsepower outboard empties a fuel tank. Today, we're counting down 11 of the worst speedboats you'll regret buying. Not opinions, not rumors, but models with real mechanical failures, structural issues, and reputations that have followed them for years. Let's begin. 11. Glastron GX Series. On the surface, the Glastron GX Series looks like a bargain. Sleek lines, sporty styling, and prices so low on the used market that buyers feel like they've discovered a hidden gem. But underneath that glossy fiberglass is one of the most expensive problems you can face in a speedboat: widespread structural rot. Many GX models were built during the early 2000 recession years, when quiet cost-cutting slipped into production. What that means for buyers today is brutal. Transoms that go soft under load. Lamination so thin it delaminates around the chines. Stringers that were never fully encapsulated, allowing water intrusion from day one. Decks that flex and crack like trampoline boards. And the trouble doesn't stop at the hull. Some GX models came with the early Volvo Penta fuel-injected engines, notorious for injector clogs, idle air control failures, and vapor lock issues in hot weather. A Glastron GX might look like a steal, but structurally, many are ticking time bombs waiting to drain your wallet. 10. Bayliner 175 and 185. Let's be clear, Bayliner has made some solid boats. But the 175 and 185 runabouts from the late 2000s, those are the boats that gave the brand its reputation, and not in a good way. Owners report transom rot, foam-filled hulls that stay waterlogged, cheap hardware that corrodes, gel coat spidering after just a few seasons. And then there's the power plant. The 3.0-liter Mer Cruiser. Reliable? Yes. Underpowered for a full family on board? Absolutely. These boats struggle to plane, bog down in turns, and are often pushed beyond their limits by owners who expected more speed than the hull is capable of delivering. These are some of the most commonly dumped boats on Facebook Marketplace, and for good reason. 9. Four Winds Horizon H200. Four Winds has a strong reputation, and most of the time, they deserve it. But even the best builders have missteps, and the Horizon H200 is one of those rare models where the problems stack up fast. The core issue? Structural weakness that starts right under your feet. The H200 was built during a period when lighter, thinner floor support systems were used to cut weight and costs. Over time, those undersized supports allow the forward deck to flex under load, which puts tremendous stress on the hull. Many owners reported spider cracks around the bow, and in severe cases, full-blown structural fractures that allowed water to seep into the flotation foam and saturate it from the inside out. Then comes the mechanical headache: early Volvo Penta EVC systems. These first-generation electronic control units were notorious for throttle glitches, random alarms, and expensive sensor replacements. With the H200, a simple take day can easily turn into a structural repair, or a four-figure electronics bill. 8. Sea-Doo Challenger 210 and 230. Jet boats promise pure adrenaline, instant throttle response, sharp handling, and the kind of acceleration that makes passengers grab anything within reach. But the Sea-Doo Challenger series comes with a hidden cost that too many buyers only discover after signing the paperwork. The problem starts with the engines. Sea-Doo used PWC-derived Rotax power plants turned right to the edge of their durability envelope. That means the same high RPM, high heat designs built for short bursts on a jet ski were suddenly expected to power a full-size family boat. The result? A long list of recurring failures. Superchargers that grenade unexpectedly. Carbon seals that leak water straight into the hull. Cooling systems that clog, and ECUs that simply give up. And once one component fails, the cascading damage often takes out everything around it. To make matters worse, BRP discontinued its entire jet boat division years ago, leaving owners to fight rising parts prices, shrinking inventory, and some of the steepest repair bills in the industry. A Challenger is thrilling, right up until the day it becomes a financial nightmare. 7. Larson LXI LSR Series. Larson didn't appear from the boating world overnight. The signs were visible long before the company shut its doors. And their final generation of LXI and LSR speedboats tells the story better than any financial report ever could. These boats looked fantastic on the showroom floor. Sleek lines, sporty profiles, and pricing that undercut nearly every competitor. But behind the shine was a pattern of structural shortcuts that eventually caught up with them. Hull delamination became a recurring issue, often starting around the chines where the glass layup was thin or inconsistent. Many stringers were never fully sealed, leading to hidden moisture, slow rot, and floors that turned soft within a few seasons. Electrical harnesses were notoriously fragile, with connectors corroding or failing outright. And hardware was often mounted directly into thin fiberglass with no backing plates, guaranteeing loose cleats, rails, and seal mounts. Dealers knew the truth. Trade-ins routinely arrived with major structural rot. Countless Larson listings still look stunning in photos. But beneath that glossy gel coat is a hole that could cost more to repair than the boat will ever be worth. 6. Regal 1900. Regal makes high-quality boats today, but around the early 2010s, the 1900 series had gel coat blisters, thin fiberglass in the bow, pressure cracks around the windshield, frequent engine alignment problems. The real trouble came from the Mercruiser 4.3 TKS carbureted setups, which struggled with hot restarts and cold start stalling. If you're buying one used, you're gambling, because the issues often show up after purchase, not before. 5. Hurricane Sun Deck SD220, SD240. These boats were marketed as sporty deck boats, but some model years suffered major build quality concerns. Owners reported transom flex, deck separation issues, steering failures, underbuilt hull-to-deck joints, loose helm consoles. They look like fun family boats until you hit wakes at 30 miles per hour and the hull reminds you it wasn't designed like a traditional speedboat. Many of these continue to hit the market cheap, but cheap is different from good. 4. Monterey 186-196 FS. Monterey makes fantastic boats now, but the older FS hulls had real trouble with floor rot, weak transom cores, gel coat cracking, faulty fuel sending units, corroding switches and breakers. A common complaint? The floor feels soft, but I can't see the damage. That's because Monterey used plywood cores that weren't sealed well. Water creeps in from screw holes, rotting the inner structure from the inside out. To fix an FS model's floor and transom, you're often looking at 40 to 60% of the boat's total value. Not worth it. 3. Stingray 185LX 190LX. Stingray is known for speed and efficiency, but efficiency often comes from thin fiberglass, and that's where the trouble starts. Common issues: holes prone to flexing, stress cracks on the bow, engine mounts pulling through soft stringers, lightweight construction that doesn't age well. These boats perform beautifully when new, but 10 to 15 years later, many are past their structural limits. You will see tons of these for sale because owners know repairing them costs more than replacing them. 2. Evinrude-powered performance boats. The hull is only half the story. The engine is the other half, and some packages are nightmares in disguise. Many speedboats from the late 2000s came with Evinrude E-Tech Gen 1 motors. These engines were powerful but inconsistent. Problems include injector failures, oil pump faults, sudden no-start conditions, carbon buildup, poor service availability since Evinrude shut down. If you're shopping for a speedboat, anything with an early E-Tech is risky, unless the owner can prove a full rebuild or injector replacement. This isn't about hating Evinrude, it's about real-world owner experience, and the fact that parts are harder to find each year. 1. Bayliner Capri Series. There's a reason marine surveyors joke that Capri is Latin for rot. If there's one speedboat that truly deserves the #1 spot, the one boat that has burned more buyers, swallowed more money, and failed more surveys than almost anything else, it's the Bayliner Capri line from the mid-1990s through the 2000s. These boats flooded the market because they were affordable, easy to tow, and looked great at the dealership. But once they aged, a brutal truth emerged: widespread structural failures. Common known issues include transoms that rot from the inside out, stringers that were stapled, not sealed, floors that turned soft in under 10 years, hull flexing at speed, gelcoat cracking under high-stress points, waterlogged flotation foam adding hundreds of pounds. Many Capris were built during Bayliner's lowest quality manufacturing era, when cost-cutting was fierce, materials were inconsistent, and lamination shortcuts were common. These boats flood the market at too-good-to-be-true prices. But the moment a survey taps the transom, you hear that hollow thud, and the deal dies on the spot. The worst part? A fully rotted Capri often costs more to repair than the boat is worth, even when given away for free. If there's one speedboat almost guaranteed to become a regret, it's a used Bayliner Capri. The used market is full of gorgeous-looking boats hiding serious problems. And if you don't know what to look for, it's easy to fall in love with a bargain that turns into a black hole for your bank account. So before you buy anything this year, do your research. Get a survey, check the transom, inspect the stringers, and most importantly, learn from the mistakes of owners who came before you. Which boat brand surprised you most on this list? Tell us in the comments. Subscribe for more boating stories, engine deep dives, and real-world reliability reviews.